What if I told you the key to becoming truly unstoppable isn't in external validation, but in focusing on yourself? Imagine building a mindset so strong that nothing outside of your control could shake your inner peace. What if the path to achieving this was already laid out thousands of years ago? Welcome to this deep dive into Stoicism. In this video, we'll explore how the Stoic philosophy can teach us how to focus solely on ourselves, not out of selfishness, but out of wisdom and self-respect. We'll look at practical Stoic principles that can guide you to live a life driven by your values, your discipline, and your internal strength. Why should you care about Stoicism? Well, the world is chaotic, and it's easy to get lost in the noise. By focusing inward, you can build a fortress of calm amidst the storm. You'll not only learn to handle life's challenges better, but you'll also understand how to live with greater purpose and resilience. So let's begin. Section 1. Understanding Stoicism. The first core concept is simply understanding Stoicism, what it is, and why it still holds immense value today. Stoicism was founded by Zeno of Citium around 300 BC. At its heart, Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control: our thoughts, our responses, and our actions. Everything else, the opinions of others, external events, material possessions, is outside our control. One of the most famous Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, wrote in his Meditations that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is a key Stoic idea. When we stop worrying about things we can't control, we become empowered to focus on what we can ourselves. Real-world example. Think about a time when you were in a stressful situation. Maybe you were waiting for an important phone call, or you were in a tense meeting. Instead of focusing on the external factors that caused your anxiety, imagine if you could just focus on your own response. How would you handle the stress differently? This is the Stoic Path: to focus on yourself, to develop the ability to respond with equanimity to external circumstances. Section 2. The importance of focusing on yourself. Now, let's move into the next core concept: why focusing on yourself is essential to growth and fulfillment. This is not about being selfish or self-centered in a negative sense. It's about taking control of your thoughts and actions. Focusing on yourself is about self-awareness and self-discipline, recognizing your role in how your life unfolds. Consider the Stoic practice of mindfulness of your thoughts. Before reacting to anything, whether it's a negative comment, a challenging work task, or a setback, Stoics encourage us to pause, reflect, and choose our response wisely. Storytelling analogy. Picture a ship navigating a stormy sea. The ship's captain cannot control the storm, but they can control how the ship navigates it. The captain doesn't allow themselves to be tossed around by the waves. They adjust the sails, steer the wheel, and stay focused on what they can control. This is you. You can't control life's storms, but you can control how you steer through them. Your reactions, your thoughts, and the values you uphold, these are in your hands. Section 3. The practice of virtue and self-reflection. The third core concept: living with virtue. The Stoics believe that to live a good life, we must align ourselves with 4 cardinal virtues: wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Let's break that down. Wisdom is about knowing what is truly valuable: your character, your integrity, your actions. Courage is the ability to face life's challenges, even when they seem insurmountable. Justice means treating others fairly, but also being fair to yourself in how you maintain boundaries. Temperance teaches us self-control and moderation, finding balance rather than excess. When you focus on cultivating these virtues, you create a life that is grounded, meaningful, and fully under your control. It's not about perfection. It's about consistent, daily practice of these principles. Real-life example. Think about a time you acted out of impulse. Maybe you said something you didn't mean or made a rash decision. Stoicism invites you to reflect on those moments, learn from them, and apply wisdom and temperance the next time. Section 4. Contrasting opinions on Stoicism. Is it too detached? Now, let's take a moment to explore a contrasting perspective on Stoicism. Some critics argue that Stoicism can be too detached from emotions or too focused on individual resilience, possibly leading to an isolated or unemotional approach to life. Critics' view, Stoicism's on controlling emotions and focusing inward might seem to promote detachment or even suppression of natural feelings, which could potentially undermine deep human connections or emotional growth. However, Stoics, like Epictetus and Seneca, didn't encourage emotionless living. Instead, they taught us how to manage emotions without being ruled by them. It's not about suppressing feelings, but about learning to control how you respond to them. Final reflection on this section. The goal isn't to avoid emotions, but to navigate them skillfully, using rational thought as your guide. It's about not being controlled by external circumstances or internal feelings, but instead having a choice in how you respond. Section 5. The power of perception. How you see the world shapes your experience in Stoic philosophy. Perception is everything. What you perceive in any given situation directly influences how you react to it. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thought. This powerful insight lies at the heart of Stoicism. The idea that the way we choose to interpret events is within our control. If we can change how we perceive things, we change how we experience them. A person might see an obstacle as a setback, or they can see it as an opportunity to grow. The Stoics emphasize the importance of reframing our mindset to empower us to respond to challenges with strength rather than frustration. Picture a scenario where someone criticizes you harshly in front of others. If you perceive this criticism as an attack, it could lead to anger or embarrassment. However, if you choose to view it as an opportunity to learn or as a moment to practice patience, your response will be drastically different. Stoicism teaches us that it's not the external event that causes distress, but our interpretation of it. This is an essential Stoic practice to become the master of our perception and ensure that our interpretations align with reason and virtue, not emotional reaction. Section 6. Embracing adversity's strength. In struggle, one of the key tenets of Stoicism is the idea that adversity builds strength. The Stoics believed that hardships were not to be avoided, but embraced as opportunities to grow stronger in our character. Epictetus famously said, "Difficulties are things that show a person what they are." Life will inevitably present challenges. Whether it's the loss of a job, a relationship breakdown, or personal failure, adversity is part of the human experience. But the Stoic approach isn't to despair or see these events as setbacks. Instead, Stoics view challenges as tests of their strength and resilience. Think of a blacksmith forging a sword. The raw metal must go through intense heat and pressure to take its final form. It's uncomfortable, even painful, but without that process, the metal would remain weak and unrefined. Similarly, adversity forces us to sharpen our character and build our inner strength. Stoicism encourages us to embrace adversity and use it as an opportunity to practice the virtues of courage, patience, and perseverance. Each challenge is an opportunity to prove to ourselves that we can endure, adapt, and thrive no matter what comes our way. Section 7. The practice of detachment, letting go of external validation. The Stoic Path also involves a powerful practice: detachment from external validation. In a world where success is often measured by material wealth, popularity, or the approval of others, Stoicism teaches us to let go of the need for external validation. Seneca, another famous Stoic philosopher, wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Much of the time we waste comes from seeking approval from others, or worrying about what others think of us. The Stoics argue that this is not a path to happiness, but a trap that keeps us tethered to the whims of others. Think about social media. We often post things with the expectation of likes or comments to validate our worth. This kind of external validation can create emotional highs and lows based on the opinions of others, leaving us feeling empty when those validations don't come. The Stoic practice of detachment teaches us to build our value and self-worth internally, rather than relying on fleeting external factors. Why practicing detachment? You become less influenced by the judgments of others and more focused on aligning your actions with your own values and principles. It allows you to live a life that is authentically yours, rather than one that is shaped by the ever-changing opinions of the outside world. Section 8. The art of self-control. Mastering your desires. At the core of Stoic philosophy is the idea of self-control. In a world that constantly tempts us with pleasures, distractions, and indulgences, Stoicism teaches us to master our desires and impulses. Self-control is not about denying yourself pleasure altogether, but about exercising moderation and making choices that align with your higher goals and values. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The Stoic practice encourages us to develop the strength to resist impulsive desires and instead focus on actions that lead to our long-term fulfillment. Consider the urge to overindulge in food or spend money recklessly when stressed. Stoicism teaches that our first step is to acknowledge the impulse but not be ruled by it. By pausing and reflecting before acting, we can make decisions that are in harmony with our higher principles such as health, financial responsibility, or long-term happiness. Why practicing self-control? We become more capable of navigating life with intention rather than reacting impulsively to every external stimulus. Section 9. The impact of daily reflection. Building consistency and practice. Finally, one of the most impactful Stoic practices is daily reflection. The Stoics understood that living with purpose and intentionality required constant self-awareness and reflection. Marcus Aurelius would spend time each day reviewing his actions, thoughts, and attitudes. This practice of self-examination allowed him to grow and make adjustments as necessary. In the fast-paced world we live in today, it's easy to lose track of what truly matters. We get caught up in the rush of life and forget to reflect on our actions, values, and the direction we're heading. Stoicism encourages us to take time each day to reflect on our decisions, to ask ourselves whether we are living in alignment with our virtues, and to adjust course when necessary. Imagine a pilot flying an airplane. Every so often, the pilot checks the instruments to ensure the plane is on course. Even a small adjustment can make a big difference over time. Similarly, daily reflection is a way of making small adjustments to our behavior, helping us stay true to our Stoic Path. By practicing daily reflection, you ensure that your actions are consistent with your goals and that you are constantly learning and evolving as a person. This practice keeps you aligned with the Stoic principles, making sure that every day you are improving just a little bit more. We've now explored several core concepts of Stoicism, from focusing on perception to embracing adversity, detaching from external validation, practicing self-control, and engaging in daily reflection. These principles offer powerful tools for living a life of purpose, resilience, and peace. If you take one thing away from this video, remember that Stoicism is not just a philosophy, it's a practice. The Stoic Path is a journey that requires daily effort, self-awareness, and commitment to living according to your values, rather than being tossed around by external events. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how Stoicism has impacted your life, or how you plan to incorporate these practices into your daily routine. Drop a comment below, share your experiences, and if you found this video valuable, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with anyone you think might benefit from these teachings. Remember, Stoicism doesn't promise an easy life, but it offers a way to face life with strength, clarity, and peace. Keep practicing, keep reflecting, and continue growing. Thanks for watching.